everyone. This is Asana of the week 2. I put up a little teaser this morning of something that I filmed yesterday. But this is the same Utkatasana chair pose with a few more modifications and a little bit of warm up to open up our shoulders a little bit. Even though this is a form that is about the lower body and how we position ourselves in our lower half, it's also very much a heart opener. And I'd suggest that's why this asana is called Utkatasana, because Utkata translates to fierce or strong. So we need a fierce sense of determination to drop down into a chair and then find a way to lift the heart without getting locked up in between our shoulder blades in our thoracic spine. So there's quite a lot going on in this form. The reason why this is a great pose to offer you at the beginning of our standing series is because we can find the tailbone without the buttocks gripping. So we really can't grip the buttocks when we come down like this. But we can poke the tailbones out, and what we want to do is learn how to bring them in. Anyway, we're going to start with a couple of shoulder openers. I tend to use a lot of props in my classes and tutorials. If you don't have blocks, they're fantastic because they're sturdy yet kind of soft. I have lots of props around, so please hit me up if you're practicing with me and you want to be able to do everything that I'm offering and use the props that I'm offering. I can drop props off to you and just leave them at your front door. You can run out and collect them from my car, whatever you feel comfortable with. I can sterilize them, just run some stuff over them. So they're nice and clean when they get to you. Put them in bags and I can deliver them. So please let me know if you'd like me to do that. Otherwise, get creative with what you've got at home. So I'm going to start on a wall. I've got my mat set up at a wall. So I'm going to come over. My feet are about 1.5 of my foot distances away from the wall here. They're a little wider than my pelvis, and I'm just going to bend my knees. So I'm kind of coming into this chair pose position. And notice let's arch the lower back and bring the lower back away from the wall. And notice here how you can't find your belly. It's kind of soft, it's hanging forward, there's an arch in the spine. So what we're going to do is hand on the lower belly, above the pubic bone, lift it up, lengthen through the tail, and you'll feel the tail coming under, wrapping around a little bit. And I can really feel my quads switching on. While my knees are beyond my ankles, they're not coming beyond the tips of my toes. Then I'm taking this block above my head. So I'm sitting it on the crown of my head, and I'm having my hands on either side of the block. So it looks like this. I've got my elbows shoulder distance apart. So my elbows aren't wide like this. They're coming into shoulder distance apart. So this is pretty full on for the shoulders, but this is the kind of action we want if we're to bring our arms up when we're in chair pose. So don't make this too strong on the legs. Even straighten the legs a little bit more, lengthen the tail, elbows in, and push the shoulders back onto the wall so you'll feel your armpits pulling back and up a little, stabilizing your shoulders. Now that's where we want the upper body to be. Then I'm going to inhale, slide the block up the wall, keeping everything as it is. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, elbows staying in. Exhale, bring it back down. So you keep on moving with your breath, and I'm just coming out here to show you where my elbows are. So I'm inhaling, my elbows stay in. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale, bring it back down. Do at least 5 rounds and then pop your block down and just come to the center of the mat and already feel what's going on in the shoulders. So if we can pin our shoulders back, lift our armpits up, all of this sets us up for having a nice sturdy shoulder girdle. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, this is an interesting one. I'm going to use 2 blocks for this. If you don't have blocks, just watch until you get blocks off me or just decide not to work with blocks. I'm going to pop my blocks like this. And then I'm going to come down onto the ground. I'm going to, this will end up at the bottom of my bra strap, the base of my shoulder blades, and it should be quite comfortable if you get it in the right position. Then I'm going to bring my feet up onto the wall. So my legs are in a chair pose position. I'm going to rock side to side to lengthen my tail, but the lower half of my body here is quite passive. I'm going to take the arms, actually let's bring the arms up here. Shoulder distance apart, palms facing each other. And then I'm going to draw my shoulders back and arch my spine a little. And then I'm going to lengthen my tailbone towards the wall. So let's do that again. I arch my back so I can feel my shoulder blades coming down the sides of the blocks. And then I inhale, exhale, lengthen my tail towards the wall, and I feel my upper back working on the block. Let's do this 3 more times. Inhale, release it. Flop down onto the block. Exhale, lengthen the tail. Push the base of the skull into the block, and you'll start to feel low tummy muscles switching on here. Inhale, release. Exhale, scooping the tailbone. You'll push down into the block. Arms will be active. And then release. Take an inhale. Exhale, lengthen the tail. So I'm scooping that way. So I go from arching the back to a straight lower back. Lift the shoulders and then draw them back down so your thoracic spine comes onto the block and your shoulders are plugged into the sockets. Relax. Let's do that 1 more time. Arch the spine. Feel the back muscles just relaxing. And then inhale, exhale, lengthen. Lift the shoulders up and then release the shoulders back. Feel the feet on the wall. Feel the core muscles switched on. Take a full breath. And releasing the arms. If you like, you can take a few breaths here. It's a beautiful heart opener. Preparing the upper body. Preparing the shape in the lower body. Take 1 more breath. You can press pause if this feels beautiful. You can stay here for as long as you like. Then bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet onto the ground. Bring the forearms onto the ground and just kind of support yourself to roll off. Coming up. Okay, now we are going to come into the full form with some variations on the wall. So my feet are about 1.5 foot distance away from the wall. Arch the back and then lengthen through the tail. I even bring my back hips off the wall, scoop my tail, but make sure the butt cheeks, so wobble the butt cheeks here, make sure they're nice and soft. And then I pop my back hips back on the wall. Beautiful. So lift and spread the toes here. Have the feet a little wider than hip distance apart. Let's go for it. So this is a great variation if you're pregnant or if you're beginning with this form. So have the feet a little wider here. Lengthen the tail, shoulders back on the wall like we were with the block earlier. If you like here, you can raise the arms and draw the shoulder blades down towards the waist. As you do that, notice your spine may want to arch away from the wall, push it back into the wall. If that's too much, have the arms out here, or you can have them on the wall with the palms facing forward. So find a position that suits you. Take 3 full breaths. There's a softness in the eye gaze, but a fierceness in determination, not willpower, but a quiet, soft determination to lift up out of the earthly self, but feeling very earth. 2 more breaths. Relax the tongue and the jaw. Then release the arms, push into the wall, coming off. And just taking a moment, let's come to Tadasana, the form we were in last week. Rock around a little just to loosen the pelvis. Now really feel what's going on through your thighs, and you can even give yourself a bit of a rub through there. Feel what's going on through your knees. You can not come down too deep while we're still developing strength and alignment through the knees and the ankles. And then come to standing in Tadasana. Either close the eyes or gaze straight out in front and just relax the breath, reclaim the breath. Feel the effects of what we've done so far. So Utkatasana is wonderful medicine for the arches. If they have dropped, it'll help to reclaim those arches and help to lift them up. It's great for Achilles pathway, Achilles tendon. It's great for strengthening the ankles and the shins. It's awesome for preparing the lower back to support us in meditation. So it strengthens the lower back. It tones and strengthens buttocks and thighs because there's no gripping. We find an internal action instead of the external grip. So just take a couple more breaths here. And then we're going to come to without the wall and using a block between the legs. So I'm going to pop that block between my legs. So you'll see it's this way, not this way. And that will be and it's up nice and high towards my upper thigh crease. So even just standing here in Tadasana, it's a great one to use in Tadasana as well. So you can come back to your Tadasana, have the feet a distance that helps you to grip the block, which will normally be pretty much hip distance apart. And then as I inhale, lift the crown of my head, I have to kind of push my inner groins back to grip on the block and then lift up. Now you can still soften the knees here if you hyperextend. So let's all just do that together. Pop the block in there, set the feet up for Tadasana, squeeze the inner groins onto the block. If you don't get much squeeze, don't worry, it comes over time. A lot of the times these muscles on the inner groins are underactive, especially if we've given birth. For women, they can get very lax on the inner groins. So it's a great way of actioning and finding those muscles. I'm just going to move out here a little. Now you may not be able to see the top of my hands, but they're like this all the time. Whether I've got my hands out here or whether I've got my arms above, they're always shoulder distance apart, very active, palms facing each other. Okay, so with the block here, let's just start with hands on hips and let's start to bend the knees and poke the bottom back. And then kick the sit bones up a little bit. Now feel that the belly goes soft to reclaim my low core muscles and to bring the sit bones back in. Poke the sit bones out as far as you can, accentuate that. And then inhale, exhale, sit bones come in and under, tail comes in and under, and I can feel my inner groins gripping on that block really strongly. So my legs are working together. And then from here, I can lean back a little into the heels, keep the grip on the inside of the knees, inside of the thighs. Lengthen my arms out. Find a comfy spot for the head and neck. Relax the jaw. Inhale, shoulder blades come in. Keep lengthening the tail. Take 3 full breaths. Hands on hips. Inhale, straighten. Let's remove the block. Let's just move it around a bit. We'll do it one more time together. You can do this up to 3 times, but if you're doing this whole little tutorial, this whole sequence is a beautiful workout. It's a beautiful workout internally. You'll feel muscle switch on. It kicks the heart rate in a little bit. So you can tell that I haven't reclaimed my breath yet. So let's just come to Tadasana. Close the eyes, reclaim the breath. Breathe into the belly. Inhale for 4, exhale for 4. I can still feel what's going on in between my thighs. It feels warm. Those muscles have worked. One more full breath. Then open the eyes. I'm going to turn side on again. So this time I'm not going to use the block. You can, if you like, come back to that block so you have that sensation to know the inner groins are working and to know that you've got that pull back into the center. There's always a pull back into the center because this is where the power is, through the central line. We draw energy up through the feet to the pelvis and then we zip ourselves up, crown of the head tall. So let's come back to this position, hands on hips. Now this is where your hands can stay the whole time. Feet can be, now let's try the feet as wide as the sit bones. So they're a little bit closer. Once you get really well practiced at this pose, you can come to feet all the way together. Let's for the moment come in a little closer, heels about sit bone width apart. Hands on hips. Lift up tall through the crown, earth down through the feet. Inhale here, exhale. Knees bent, knees come beyond ankles but not beyond toes. Kick the buttocks up, sit bones up, lose the belly. Inhale here, exhale. Tuck under, under, under. Now while we're here for a different variation, let's clasp the hands, keep the tuck, lengthen the arms, lean forward and open your chest. You may even drop down a little bit more as long as you can keep your tail a little tucked. Take 2 more breaths. Then inhale, come back, hands on hips, kick the buttocks out. Inhale, exhale, tuck them under. Lift the chest, gaze out in front. You can keep the hands here. You can keep the arms out here. You can take them up higher. 3 breaths. And inhale up, exhale, arms down, walk it out, relieve the intensity, be a little fluid, be limp in the wrists. Come back to Tadasana, take a few breaths, feel the difference in your body. See if you can find where your pelvis is a little bit easier here. Lift through the crown, relax the shoulders. You'll be able to feel more of you. Take 3 breaths. Open the eyes, go again if you like. I'm signing off here. I hope you've enjoyed asana of the week. Bring hands together at the heart. Inhale, exhale, bow to your heart space, honoring and giving thanks to you. Meeting self with kindness, care and compassion as we learn about ourselves through this practice. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.